On this week's CMA Live All Access, we've got brand new product announcements from TURY, RDVFL, LINKSWELL, KENWOOD, and JBL Marine. This is CMA Live All Access presented by SiriusXM and brought to you by 5-Axis Innovations. And it starts now. Now, if you haven't heard of TURY yet, well, you're probably not alone. It's a relatively new entry into the North American market, and we're going to find out what that's all about. We've got Doug Dobson here with us. Doug, out of the gate, we need to understand what exactly is this TURY FastMax product, and what does it do?
Well, the TURY FastMax is the newest generation of the fast throttle control device that we've been selling for a little over a year now. It's a plug-and-play throttle interface that's controlled by your smartphone, and it's designed to give you better throttle response and get rid of the delay that's inherent in drive-by-wire vehicles. We take the signal from the vehicle's accelerator pedal, modify it before sending it to the BCM. It still operates entirely within the factory specifications, but it feels like a completely different vehicle. And originally, Fast was just a fun name to say, but because of the changes we've made with this release of Max, we've decided that FAST now stands for Full Acceleration and Safety Technology.
Well, let's get into it. The announcement is, in fact, the launch of the TURY FastMax. So what are some of the unique features that make this product so special within the industry?
Well, like several other throttle control devices, we take the signal from the gas pedal and we modify it. And we started with 4 different algorithms, 4 different modes, each with 9 levels of performance. So you can have early acceleration, middle of the pedal stroke, just overall more aggressive, and you control each level of that. But since we're modifying that signal, we said, well, there's got to be other stuff we can do with it. So we created an eco mode. Obviously, gas prices are not what they were a couple years ago, so we have a mode now also with 9 levels, but it's geared towards saving fuel and just takes the edge off of the accelerator. And so using that, we've seen up to 25% increase in miles per gallon, which is pretty significant, and it's been very effective. So we've got the ability to control it and reduce performance, and we said, well, why don't we reduce it even more? So we took that idea and we created a valet mode or a parking mode. And you can go into the menu on the app, tell it you're going into parking mode, and at that point, you can cut the performance down so that the output is 50% of what the pedal is telling the BCM it should be, all the way down to 15% as a maximum. So the kid parking your car at the restaurant is going to turn your Hellcat into a little lawnmower. He's definitely going to save trouble on that one. We said, okay, well, that's cool. Maybe we take it a bit further. What if they just couldn't drive it at all? And so we created the ability to completely lock the pedal out. No matter what signal you do, stomping on the pedal, it does not put out any signal in lock mode. And you can control that with the app. You just tell it to lock, and the pedal has no output until one of the 4 smartphones that is paired to it is in the area. And once it's in the area, it just unlocks itself and allows you to drive. And we said, well, that's pretty cool. Why don't we take that a little bit further? And so with the FastMax, we have now added the ability to automatically lock the pedal every single time the ignition cycles. If safety is good, security is good, then automatic and using it every time is going to be better. We've had a huge increase in auto thefts here in the U.S. I know you have in Canada. That's all I could hear about at CMA show was how many cars are stolen. And where in the U.S., this has been sold typically as a throttle response, and we have this extra accessory. Well, in Canada, it's going quite the other way, and the FastMax will really make it so because it becomes a security device in and of itself. But since we can do that, why not tie it to other things? So we now added an input wire, the one part that makes it not plug and play, but with that input wire, you can tie it to your drone, smart start, whatever telematics device you have that has an output available. You send the output to the unit, and remotely, you're able to put it into lockdown mode. Well, it's not safe to just shut off a pedal while you're driving, and in Canada, it's not legal. So what we did is have it trigger to our valet mode, starts at 50% throttle, works its way down every 10 to 15 seconds until it's at either 0 throttle or 10% throttle to make it legal for Canada and other places where you can't deactivate the pedal completely. And so at 10% throttle, you can measure that it's actually doing something, but obviously the car's not going to drive away very quickly. And so that is one of the biggest things that we've done. We also made some other accessories for it. We created a magic key. We had a dealer that said, this would be really cool to do for our dealerships. We could put one in every car because cars are getting stolen like crazy from dealerships, just like they are from everybody else. But we thought how clumsy that every salesperson would have to have a smartphone paired to every vehicle. That's just no way to do it. So we came up with a magic key, which is a little remote control key about the size of a regular key fob, and it can be paired just like a smartphone would. And so using that, now you can go to a dealership and tell them you can secure every vehicle in the lot. You can give them magic keys. You can buy them individually because we came up with other uses after this, but you can buy them individually or you can buy them in 10 packs. So you can have 10 keys that are exactly the same. Each salesman gets a key. The cars can sit on the lot. People can take them, take the keys, go start them and do whatever, but it's not going to drive away unless the salesman is there with a magic key to unlock it. That was kind of cool. We said, what if we did that on a personal level? So we made another loop in the whole system where you can leave your smartphone in the car with the car running, and if you have a magic key paired to it that's in your pocket, you just walk away and that car goes into lockdown mode when it senses that the key's not around anymore. So you get carjacked. Even if most people would take their phone to go into a convenience store or whatever, but even if you left your phone and someone took off with it, they're not going to get very far because it does the lockdown mode. So we've just addressed a bunch of different security features as well as the safety it provides and the performance. So we've got a real hit with that one. Some of the other stuff we did in this latest version, another thing that was added by request of a dealer was we have a high idle mode where you can get into the settings, tell it you want high idle, rev the engine to whatever RPM you choose, push the button, and it'll lock the pedal output at that same point. And it will just stay in that same signal, so your idle's raised. Great for service vehicles, silly people like me who go out jeeping and break stuff and have to weld with the alternator or have to winch a lot. The request was actually for SPL guys because more power out of the alternator gives them more power to the amplifiers and system will get louder. All you have to do is shut that off, touch the pedal. So it's super, super basic and easy to use. But honestly, probably the coolest part about the whole setup that makes us different than the others is you don't wait for a customer to come in and order a throttle response device for a new Silverado with a Duramax diesel and whatever. We have universal modules, and we have 32 now, I think, different harnesses. And we even have a test drive kit that has our 27 most popular harnesses and a couple modules in it. So you can keep inventory right on the counter in this little box. Anybody who walks through the door, you have what they need in stock. And it's like 1/10 the price of stocking each individual piece. So you can always take care of the customer who walks through the door. And being a throttle control device, it really is about feeling it. And you can put it in the customer's car in a matter of minutes. They just drove in that car. They can feel it completely different. They can see that the pedal locks, all the different features in just a few minutes, and it's a sure sale. And then it's easy to restock because you just order the part that you just sold and replenish it in the kit. So that's most of it. We do have an IP lineup that is soon going to be switched over to the Max structure as well. So it gets the auto locks. I'm not sure that we're actually going to be able to tie it in with telematics devices, but the IP system is really for, right now it's for motorcycles. We cover Harley Davidson, pretty much everything 14 and up. That's drive-by-wire, Polaris, Can-Am, Van and Hall, Jeeps, and Broncos. And most of those devices, or most of those vehicles, you wouldn't actually typically have a security system on anyway. But because of the auto lock feature, there are very, very few keys for any of those company for the vehicles. And so it's easy for people to jump up and steal them. And most people don't secure them. They go out for the weekend and they're in the woods or they're in the dunes and their rides sit outside and they get stolen quite often as well. So we included that. And now we're getting into water sports. So we'll have jet skis and Sea-Doos covered here very shortly.
Doug, obviously you are well trained and qualified to be able to teach about this brand new product in the TURY FastMax. I guess the only way to wrap this up is, what recommendations do you have for dealers who are listening to this saying, wow, this is a really cool device, a really cool platform with a lot of different features and potential. What's the best way for them to get connected?
Well, as I said, the best thing to do is get one in your car because you won't stop selling it once you experience it yourself. But you want to find out more information, you want to become a dealer, you can just go to hki-usa.com and there's a tab right there to become a dealer. But while you're there, you can check out, TURY, you can check out some of the other great products we have and make contact that way. We have reps around the country. We have a couple different distributors we're working with. So we can get you taken care of quite quickly.
Hi, Jody from 5Axis here. Just want to bring everybody up to speed with what we do and how we do it. We're a display company. We do a lot of custom graphics. Obviously, we do custom audio boards. We do RGB lighting. We do graphical work up top. We also do all the different custom amp mounts. So for all your store needs, we do front counters, we do home audio sections, we do lighting, everything that you're looking for, give us a call. Again, it's 5Axis, 414-326-7162.
So there's a new distributor in town that is really focusing in on a very unique product, and that is called RDVFL. What does this acronym stand for? I don't know, but we're going to find out because we've got Rich DiStefani, who's the president of RDVFL, in here. Now, Rich, I guess the first question I have for you out of the gate, for the record, who is RDVFL and what exactly is your purpose or mission within the 12-volt industry?
So RDVFL actually stands for Research, Develop, Validate Automotive Technology. So the name is RDV Automotive Technology. RDVFL.com is the website, and we are a manufacturer and a wholesaler of automotive electronics, specializing in higher end integration, adding wireless CarPlay, Android Auto to vehicles that didn't come with it, and amongst some other products as well. And we are in this industry for over 25 years, and we provide a 3-year warranty on all of our products. And we specialize in integrating into the OEM systems, enhancing them with features that they didn't come with originally.
So it seems like you're covering a lot of different categories there, Rich. Why don't you break it down for us? What exactly are your main line of products, and what is the specialty behind RDVFL?
So we really specialize in fully integrating wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, front and rear camera inputs, and phone mirroring into the factory OEM infotainment system. So essentially, what we can do is we can add Google Maps, Waze, Spotify, all of the apps that you use every day, Siri, Google Assistant, all through the OEM controls, and it'll all display in the OEM screen vehicles that didn't come with it before. For example, like an older BMW, Audi, Lexus, Mercedes, Porsche, vehicles like that from the mid 2000s to the 2010s that had a screen, had controls to control the radio. Those are the vehicles that we integrate into, and it's really much as close to factory as you could possibly get with an aftermarket system. Like I said, all factory controlled through the controls on the console, steering wheel, and factory screen.
So this mirroring situation, there's so many new vehicles, it's unbelievable, but that don't come with wireless CarPlay or Android Auto. There is a device that you offered called the CPAA Mirror. I want you to tell us all about it and all the features that it has.
Yeah, so the CPAA Mirror, this is such an awesome little product. Super, super simple. Essentially, it just plugs into the USB port where you would normally plug in for CarPlay or Android Auto. And the main feature is that it converts wired CarPlay and wired Android Auto to wireless. So basically, you're going to plug the USB-C port into the CPAA Mirror, plug the USB into the factory USB port where you plug in for CarPlay or Android Auto, and this is going to make it wireless now. Also, additionally, this will allow you to watch YouTube and Netflix and control the YouTube and Netflix from the factory touchscreen. So the YouTube and Netflix are built into this. So they're apps that are generated onto the screen, and you can utilize them right from the factory touchscreen. Additionally, you can mirror your phone as well. So you could wirelessly mirror what's on your phone. Usually it's limited to YouTube and whatever's on the phone, but really, really awesome little product. This is something that every single tint shop or car stereo shop or anybody that sells any type of automotive electronics should have in stock. This works on factory radios, works on aftermarket radios, and this is an opportunity for even a tint store. Every single customer that comes in, simple question you ask: hey, do you have CarPlay in that car? Yes. Do you have to plug in to use it? Yes. Would you like to make it wireless? And then you get your answer, yes or no, and then you move forward from there. But this is a super simple device that can add a little bit of extra money to every sale that you make for every car pretty much that comes through your door, whether it has a factory system with wired CarPlay or an aftermarket radio with wired CarPlay, and they want to make it wireless or they want to add YouTube and Netflix. So awesome, awesome little product right here, the CPAA Mirror.
I got to admit, Rich, that unit right there is a must-have for every shop that sells or even dabbles in 12-volt electronics. It's unbelievable how many cars are out there that don't have wireless. So, I mean, yeah, absolute winner. Now, moving on to another category, RDVFL also offers a selection of application-specific source units. So what vehicles are the application for, and what makes them unique?
Yeah, so we have these really, really awesome, Tesla style radios or large screen radios for some unique cars that nobody else supports, nobody else covers, and they're really, really high end. There's a stigma around some of the, Android based radios. And, I put a lot of effort into these radios to make sure that they are solid and they work properly. And you get a 3-year warranty, number one. Which nobody else offers in this category, is a 3-year warranty on these radios. I support the Maserati Gran Turismo from 2007 to 2017. I support all of the Bentley Continental models, the 4-door, the 2-door, and the convertible from 2004 up until 2018. And I also cover the Infiniti Q50 and Q60 from 2014 to 2021. Really, really beautiful radios. They're all running really, really high-end processors, Qualcomm Snapdragon processors. So they're super fast, super responsive, 256 megs of ROM, 8 gigs of RAM, 8-core processors. So really, really awesome radios. They really do a lot more than just update the radio system. They also incorporate digital climate controls. So you get digital AC controls, which is a huge upgrade from the analog buttons that are in both the Maserati and the Bentley. The Infiniti has hard buttons, and it also has digital controls, so you could use it either way. So really, really nice units. All of them are 1080p resolution. They all add wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, camera inputs. You can stream video on them. You can download video streaming apps, YouTube, Hulu, Netflix, Sling, the works. Really, really, really amazing technology upgrades for those vehicles, and I'll be expanding on that line as well. The Bentley's a 12.5-inch, the Infiniti is a 13.5-inch, and the Maserati is a 10.5-inch radio. So there'll be some pictures, of them up shortly.
Well, Rich, I'm sure you've got a lot of dealers tuning in, super excited about these really innovative products that you're offering. So what opportunities currently are available to these dealers, and what kind of level of support can they expect?
Basically, everybody is asking for a CarPlay or Android Auto in one form or another. And the opportunity right off the bat is to sell something to a vehicle that you can't change the radio in, because usually that's the first go-to is, let me change the radio, let me upgrade the infotainment system with something aftermarket. But in the vehicles that you can't do that with, this is an opportunity to offer a product with a 3-year warranty, really, really high quality, great working product, fast, responsive, integrates into the car well, and amazing support behind the product. I'm available 24/7. Been doing this for 25 years, so I know the cars in and out. I know the products in and out. And, as the owner of the company, I put my name and my face behind it. I answer the phone 24/7. Even if you're on the West Coast and it's 6:00 at night, it's 9:00 here in the East Coast, and you need help, I'm answering the phone. So you'll always get support. You'll always get technical assistance, which is really big in this category. And I also have some really, really amazing partners that support the brand. Dow Technologies distributes the product across 22 states in the southern half of the U.S. Really, really amazing distributor. They have products in stock all over the U.S. So, if you have a relationship with Dow, get in touch with them. Have Go Fast Solutions in New England and the New York, New Jersey tri-state area up there. Another amazing distributor, amazing people there. So definitely get in touch with them if you're in that area. And then in Canada, I have Importel, which is another amazing distributor. I can't say enough about my partners. They're all such great people and great businesses to deal with on a business level. And then I have Cardoza and Company as a rep in California. He handles California primarily. And if you in that area, you can get in touch with them. Also, I have 12-volt marketing up in New England and the New York, New Jersey tri-state area as well. Frankie Mark, really great guy. Known him a long time. And then also Polarity Check in Las Vegas, in that area over there. Polarity Check Marketing, another great company, awesome people. So yeah, we have a lot of opportunities, a lot of ways to increase the bottom line, and a lot of great partners. So reach out anytime. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you have and provide information about the company.
KENWOOD.
Well, it looks like the folks at Kenwood have been busy coming up with new and innovative products, and one such product is one you may not expect. In fact, it is a dual camera system meant for motorsports. We have Mr. Josh Bowen in the studio with us. Now, Josh, What was the purpose of developing this interesting camera system specifically for the motorsports market?
So the purpose really comes from wanting to consistently evolve our markets. If we don't evolve markets, then we'll eventually die out, as we've seen happen with so many other companies. The reality is that means that helps our dealers to also grow their markets too. And when we took a look at this, we noticed that there was a system that was being used, but it was a system that was traditionally created for an entirely different purpose that's just being multi-purposed. So our thought was we could create a great camera system that benefits customers in the marine and motorsports environments to have a system like this.
All right, Josh. Well, help me understand a little bit because, when we think about Kenwood, I mean, I'd be hard pressed not to say we think about car audio and source units and amps and speakers. So for me, there's a little bit of a departure. So where is the history with Kenwood when it comes to camera devices then?
That's honestly completely understandable because traditionally when people think Kenwood, they think radios or receivers, right? But a lot of times our dealers often forget that we're a full line manufacturer. I mean, since the beginning of us entering the car audio game, which was essentially when car audio began, we've always offered receivers, amps, and speakers. And in the late 90s and early 2000s, when the multimedia movement happened and we started seeing receivers that had screens on them, we also started making cameras because we needed something to be able to have a backup view, right? So we started making backup cameras as early as the early 2000s. And from there, we began to expand that lineup even further, and we started introducing dash cameras, right? So we have the DRV N520, which is probably one of our most iconic dash cameras with the integration into our receivers, but also the great quality that comes out of it. And even more recently, when we introduced the CMOS 740 HD, which is our high dynamic range HD backup camera that really produces one of the best images that I've ever seen. So when you think about the big picture and kind of take a step back to look at Kenwood as a whole, it makes sense to me that we would also have something like this too.
Thank you for the insight, Josh, but I have to admit, you have my curiosity piqued. So let's get into it. When I'm looking at this kit, what exactly are the components that it comprises of? What can we expect to get in the box?
So I want to kind of go back to what I said at the very beginning and the first question when I said that there is an action sports camera that motorcycle riders and other types of vehicles are currently using, but they're using it outside of the realm it was intended to be created. And that's because there's a lot of cons for these environments that the STZ was created for. So when I tell you what's included in the box, it's because there were needs that weren't being met currently. So inside of the box, you'll find two cameras, one for the front and one for the rear of the vehicle, which is where the other systems that are being used kind of lacked. They only offered one view. Outside of that, we'll also have a switch, which allows us to create manual recordings, for example, but also access Wi-Fi pairing mode. My favorite thing, since I'm from the tech side, is it also helps us to see any error codes. If there's an error code that's popped up, it's displayed on the switch. There's a main DVR unit where all of the components connect to, which should be installed in a centrally located section on the vehicle it's being installed in. And last but not least, there's a GPS antenna, which provides a lot of important information we need whenever we're using a system like this on these types of vehicles.
Well, now you have my appetite all wet and ready to go. So can you bring it already? What exactly are the features of this really cool motorsports camera system then?
Okay, so I'm going to put it like this. I always introduce this product with a fun story to go behind it. Let's say that you had something like a GoPro and then you had a dash camera. And then the GoPro and the dash camera fell in love and they had babies. That's exactly what this is because it has features from both sides of that world. A GoPro, for example, being an action sports camera. This STZ kit has a high dynamic range system, full HD resolution, and an electronic image stabilization built into it. That's essential for Harley Davidsons or other motorcycles, for example, that have a large engine that creates a lot of vibrations. But outside of that, even on vehicles like jet skis or side-by-sides that will be introduced to some pretty rough terrains, that electronic image stabilization does a great job of creating a smooth image throughout that whenever you're reviewing it for playback. Outside of that, it also has those dash camera properties. So it has a built-in G sensor. And if there's any kind of an impact detected, it'll store that video in a separate file. That way it's easier to reference, but also it protects it. That way you don't have to worry about it getting overwritten because this is a DVR. Whereas the single camera action sports solutions I was telling you about earlier will have an SD card that's inserted, but once that card fills up, it stops recording. So then the riders miss that. With our system being a DVR, That means it's just going to consistently make space for you and start deleting recordings that have been on that card for some time. It also has that GPS antenna, which helps to provide latitude, longitude coordinates, and time and date stamps. So let's say, for example, you have the STZ system installed on a motorcycle, and then somebody backs into you at a red light. Cops show up, they tell the cops it's your fault. You can pull that up on your phone on the spot, because we also have an app that we created for it. And then you can show that footage to that officer in real time at that moment, export it with the appropriate information to prove that you're where you say you were and it happened when you say it happened. It's packed full of all kinds of great features, even on the IPX ratings, to make sure that the cameras and the DVR unit can survive in all of the elements that it's been introduced to.
I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of blown away with all the features you just described there, but I can't get the image of a GoPro and a dash cam getting it on. But anyhow, let's talk about the takeaway features and benefits, or really the user experience that the rider benefits from once installed.
So our goal behind this was we wanted to create a solution for riders of all types of vehicles, whether it's 2 wheels or in some cases 4 wheels, that was going to be an out of sight, out of mind, easy to operate system. With the solutions that riders are currently using today, say for example, a standalone action sports camera, they have to worry about having batteries that are charged or enough SD cards to change them out if one fills up. This is, as soon as the vehicle turns on, automatically starts recording so that you don't have to worry about ever missing a moment. It ties into the factory electrical system, so you don't have to worry about recharging batteries either. As soon as you turn it on and start going, you know that the system's on and working, because that switch gives you an on indication so that you can see that visibly if you need to. With the app that we created, it's incredibly easy to use, regardless of Android or an iPhone. And to take it a step further, if you take that SD card out, which is removable and upgradable up to 256 gigabytes, you can put that into your PC, whether it's Mac or Windows, and then you can use our PC viewer, which opens up even more features, allowing you to see the map from when the video was recorded, shows you in real time where you were and how fast you were going. Plus, you can view front and rear videos at the same time. Our goal behind this was for users to have a great, easy interaction and an enjoyable experience with this product. And I think we nailed it.
Hey guys, Ricky Lima here from SiriusXM. I had a chance to speak to some dealers and ask them what they love about selling SiriusXM. Here's what they had to say.
Coast-to-coast coverage.
I love SiriusXM for commercial-free music.
It's a great add-on sale and a profit opportunity.
We love selling SiriusXM because you can listen to the same channel coast to coast.
Profitability and ease of installation. It's a no-brainer.
We love selling SiriusXM for its ease of installation, great profitability, and reliability.
People love it.
Now, I remember the first time I laid eyes on a LINKSWELL screen. And let me tell you, if you haven't seen them yet, they are big. And it's incredible how they've come up with products that literally fit so well and look so modern in some of these older vehicle applications. Now, they have just come out and announced that their big screens just got bigger with a brand new series called the XL. I've got Jonathan Detlefson here in the studio with us. Jonathan, tell us all about how in the world can you make them even bigger?
Yeah, for sure. So if you've seen any of our other T-style radios, you know we've done a lot of work to put as big of a screen as we can and make the bezel look factory. That's kind of been the key, was we wanted it to not look like it didn't belong. We didn't want to put a big screen that was coming hanging off the dash like just a big tablet mounted on there. So we would make things like our T-style where you can see the bezel here is fit. It looks like it belongs there. We would get the biggest screen we could, figure out how to fit it in there, make it look factory. But what's happening is the industry is shifting on the manufacturer side. So as these factories are starting to build new cars with bigger screens, they are creating this floating screen look, and people are really starting to embrace that. So we figured, why don't we go out and find the biggest screen we possibly can and see if we can't do the same kind of idea and jump on the bandwagon of the floating screen. So what we've done is we went out, found that biggest automotive grade screen. So we found a 15.6 inch screen. We found this beauty right here. And then we said, okay, how can we make this 15.6 inch screen fit inside a dash that is definitely not made to fit a 15.6 inch screen and not look like somebody just stuck a tablet on the side of the dash. So what we've done is we've taken our same bezel. So you can see this is kind of the same bezel that I just picked up with our Gen 5. And rather than making it look like the screen needs to sit flush, what we've done is we've created a cove. So what this does is this gives us the opportunity to take the big screen and let it stick up or let it hang down a little bit. But because we've made this cove, it actually looks like the dash was supposed to have it. So it gives that floating screen that it looks like it was supposed to be there, because it's not just a screen mounted on and there being gaps, but we've created this cove. So that's really what we thought. We said, you know what? Everybody's excited about these big, giant floating screens. A lot of people don't want to buy those new trucks, so let's see what we could do with the tooling we already have and go find those big screens. And you know what? We've been leading the market when it comes to big screen radios, so we just had to get a big screen. So we did. That's what we got. T-Style XLs are massive and super cool.
Talk about go big or go home. I love it. I love the fact that LINKSWELL is all up in this. But let's make no mistake, it's not just about the size of the screen, because these new XL screens are loaded with unique features. Jonathan, break it down for us why dealers and consumers are going to be hot to trot for these new XL models.
So our T-Style XLs are not just the biggest T-Styles we've made, but they're also the fastest and the one with the most features. One of the coolest features, I think, about the T-Style X is we have an on-screen knob. So you can kind of see this knob here. This is a multi-function knob. So on a normal processing or normal usage, it'll be volume. So you'll be able to turn it just like you would a volume. But just swiping the bottom of the screen there will open up your climate controls, and now the knob is going to control your fan speed. While you're in climate controls, if you tap the knob one time, now it's going to do your temperature. If you let it sit for 15 seconds or more, it'll actually flip back to the audio side, or you can swipe it, and then the knob is right back to doing your volume control. So that's probably one of the coolest features, is having this giant screen. That was one thing that we've always wrestled with all of our T-Styles, is how can we get the biggest screen in there, and then people really like to be able to have those knobs. And with the new XL, we're able to do massive screen and a really fancy multifunction knob. So that's probably one of the most exciting things that's coming out of it. But then you've got the fact that it is definitely the fastest. So everything we've had before, we were about 4 gigs of RAM, looking about a 4-core processor. With this one, we're running an octa-core with 8 gigabytes of RAM, so it is literally twice as fast. The memory is going to be 128, so you got plenty of memory to do what you want to with it. It's running Android 11, so we've jumped up a couple in Android versions. We've got, of course, the cool features that we would always have with our other T-Style radios. You've got all the Google Play Store. You've got the ability to do streaming apps and stuff like that. We have optical out for all of you guys with the audio file with the DSPs. We have bumped up the preamps a little bit more. So our Generation 5 had a 4-volt preamp, but it was fluctuating by level. This is RMS, so we've got a 4-volt RMS out, so we've bumped up the preamps a bit. We've got a new phone link system, so not only are we able to do wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, but we're now able to do wireless mirroring, so you'll be able to mirror your phone. That's been a feature that people asked about quite a bit as well. And yeah, what else do we got going on there? Oh, one more really cool thing. We're about to get done with the process through the FCC so that you can actually put a SIM card into it, so you won't even need Wi-Fi. You could actually have service straight to the radio itself, not needing to tether anything, and you'd have internet, be able to do whatever apps you want to right there on the radio. So yeah, big screen, multifunction knob, high pre-outs, built-in SIM card, mirroring, and lots of processing power.
Now, folks, as if that wasn't enough news with the new XL series, the word on the street is LINKSWELL isn't done quite yet, because Generation 6 of their T-Style radios is just around the corner. Jonathan, what can you tell us about this new generation of your very popular T-Style radios?
Yes, Gen 6. So, as I mentioned when we were talking about the XL, the new look is that floating screen. But what I also know is there are some folks who are not about that floating screen life. They like the fact that the T-Style looks like it belongs there. They like the fact that it sits in there flush. So what we've done is we've taken pretty much all of the internals that we're using to build the XL outside of the screen and that multifunction knob, and we've put those into all of our tooling for what you would see like a Gen 5. So you'll see a picture here. This is our Gen 6, and it literally looks physically just like a Generation 5 as far as the knobs are concerned, as far as the bezel's concerned. All of the power that the XL has, though, is in this, which means you have the Qualcomm 8-core processor, you have the 8 gigs of RAM, you have 128 gigs of memory, you have the SIM card, you have the fact that you can do mirroring, you have the higher preamp. So all of the cool things that are popping up, and there is one other cool feature that I didn't mention with the XL that is on XL and Generation 6 is we've added a sleep timer. So one of the downsides of doing Android is when it has to power up, it's like a computer, so there's a bit of a time for it to boot up. So we have wrestled with putting in a sleep timer, because the problem with the sleep timer is when you don't restart your computer after a while, it starts to crash. When a radio crashes in your car that's running CAN bus, lots of problems happen. So we've been really limited on wanting to do that. But what we've done is we've created a fail-safe so that, say, the first 10 times you get in and out of your truck, the radio is going to boot up instantly because it's just asleep. And then we've got like a fail-safe that will let it reboot every now and again. So we also have added on XL and Generation 6 a sleep timer. So for the majority of the time you're getting in and out of your truck or your car, it's going to happen quick. But our Generation 6 will come across pretty much everything we have a Generation 5 for, we will make a Generation 6. And that's another reason why we made sure we did a Gen 6, because there are some vehicles, some applications, like say the Mustang. The Mustang, there's no way for us to do the 15.6 without completely blocking the AC controls or getting in way of the shifter. So there's just no way for us to make an XL for the Mustang, but we didn't want to leave your Mustang guys out. So we get all of the cool features outside of that knob and that 15-inch screen, put it into our existing tooling, and give you a much more powerful, just standard T-style radio. So that's what the Gen 6 is. Pretty much everything the XL is without the floating screen look. Back to kind of our roots when it comes to looking like the factory. So if you're that guy that wants to look factory, but you want all the cool stuff, Gen 6 is yours.
Finally, Jonathan, word has it that Team LINKSWELL is hitting the road and visiting dealers all over the place. So what is this tour that's planned? Where are you going to be? And where can people experience your demo vehicle?
Yeah, so we've been doing SEMA, we've been doing Knowledge Fest and the shows like that for about 5-6 years now. And one of the most common things we ever heard was somebody would come in that hasn't seen our product before, or maybe hasn't really worked with it very often. They get into one of our demo vehicles or something, they get in there and like, man, it's one thing to see a picture of this, and it's a whole nother thing to actually feel it and play with it. And that's always been, every show we've been to, we hear that numerous times. And so we came back from Knowledge Fest this past February, and we just decided, you know what, we're gonna go for it. So we went ahead, we bought out a few trucks, and we're not doing super big things like we would do for a SEMA vehicle, but what we're doing is we're throwing in our T-Style XL, we're throwing in some of our DSP amplifiers, our multi-camera, putting a little display in the bed of the truck, and then we're just sending them out across the states and up into Canada. So we actually bought 2 trucks so far. We've got an F-150, and that one's actually already out on the road. It went up the West Coast, so it's actually on its way into Oregon and Washington, and it's going to jump the border and then come across Canada. We're working on a Dodge Ram, and that's going to come down south and go weave its way back. But we are setting up so that this truck can ride in with all of our reps into the different shops, again, because not everybody can get to these industry shows where we're actually showing, and we just really wanted to make sure that we could take our product to the dealers, to our customers, so they can actually see it functioning, see how it works, see how impressive it is, see that we do spend a lot of time and a lot of work and a lot of effort on all the little details to make it not look just like an aftermarket radio. We are really striving to find that balance between looking factory but giving you all of these amazing things, and we want you to be able to see that. So if you are one of our customers, contact your rep and say, hey man, let me see that truck, bring it down here. If you aren't one of our customers and you're interested in seeing that truck, reach out to us, let us know. We'll see if we can't work getting that truck to your shop so you guys can check it out. But the thing is, our product's cool in a picture, but it's amazing when you actually do it. So we bought trucks, we're sending them out, they're going across the US, up into Canada. We want you guys to check out what we have because we're quite excited about it.
Now, if you had the chance to watch our JBL Marine session during the Marine sessions, you know that JBL's got quite the lineup when it comes to catering to that marine audio customer. But they also have an incredible selection of source units, which were recently totally re-engineered and designed. Now, we've got Josh Berry, who's in the studio with us today, because JBL has revamped this popular category with a brand new selection. So why don't you tell us the story about JBL in this category?
Yeah, first of all, Ben, thanks for having us. It's a great opportunity to spread the JBL knowledge here. But just to give you a little background, JBL first got their start back in the late 1990s, at least in the marine space, and they've been going strong ever since. So we first started with the brand Infinity, and then we progressed to JBL over the years. But man, ProSpec has got a really cool strategic partnership with Harman. We go out into the field, support Harman in terms of, really sales and marketing. We're based out of Charleston, South Carolina, which just seems to be a hot spot for boating. So we like to go boating on the weekends. The owner here goes offshore fishing. But nevertheless, man, the partnership with JBL is just such a unique one. They drive the bus, and we're just happy to be a part of it.
I gotta say, Josh, the look and feel of this new Wake series certainly is very slick and very modern, I believe. So let's get into it. Let's talk about that R3500 model first. What are some of the feature sets that make this unit very interesting?
Yeah, I'll be glad to. So the JBL 3500 is the beginning part of the new Wake series. So with every beginning part, right, that's designed to meet a certain price point. So, we're not going to go gangbusters out of the gate with features galore, but we're going to give you a lot of cool features for the price point. So starting out, the 3500 is 2-ohm stable, which means you can hook up a total of 8 4-ohm speakers, wire those in parallel. Really, that prevents the need to buy external amplification. You've got a monochromatic screen. You've got 4 lines of display, which is really a lot of display for the viewer to see while they're out in the boat. A lot of our competition has just 1 or 2 lines. So it's really cool to provide that level of detail to that boater so they don't have to get out their magnifying glass in order to read it. So some other cool features are, it's got 1 set of pre-outs for a little bit of expandability. And we really dialed in, like I was talking about before, the tuning to this particular stereo. We want boaters to enjoy AM FM while out on the water, so we put a lot of concentration on that. So it's a great stereo for the price point, and there's another sequel to come, which I know we'll talk about later in this segment.
I think the R3500 model represents a great entry point, and I think there's a lot of dealers that could find great value into installing that piece. But let's get into the interesting flagship model in the R4500 and what unique features that has to offer.
I mean, the R4500, as I had mentioned, that's the sequel to the R3500. With that, you get tons of additional features. So let's just kind of go through the features real quick. You've got a full 4-inch color TFT display, very vivid while you're out in the water. You can even view it through polarized sunglasses. You've got Bluetooth 5.0, so very quick pairing process and a little bit longer data range. So if let's say you're fishing up off the bow, you're not going to lose that connectivity. We've added some really cool features such as NEMA 2000. And really that gives you the ability to tap into that NEMA backbone. And in the end, what that really means is that you can view your audio information on the MFD screen, whether that's Garmin, Lowrance, or Simrad. So that's a really cool feature. We've stepped up and added 3 sets of pre-outs for that expandability. So we have a left, a right, and a sub channel within each set of pre-outs. So essentially each pre-out acts as its own zone. So we're going to give you 3 zones upon which to control your audio. So to give you a good example, if you had speakers at the bow, speakers at the stern, and then your tower speakers, and your tower speakers were becoming totally overwhelming, you could go into the R4500 and dial that down, at least the tower speakers, so that it's not so in your face. So some other cool features as well is, aux input, USB input, and the cool thing about the USB input is M5, so made for iPod. So if you were to plug in your Apple device. We're going to give you album artwork through that, as well as charging through your USB port. Another way to get album artwork too is through Bluetooth, which is a really cool concept. So you don't have to plug into that USB input. You can also just stream it via Bluetooth and have that album artwork pop up. Now, if you thought that was enough, we're gonna keep going, because it's even wired remote ready, and we've got 2 style remotes, which are going to be up on the screen here, and we've got a small remote called the REM80, and we also have another really cool rotary kind of encoder style remote, which is the REM1. Now, additional remote options include the handy dandy JBL Click. That's a completely wireless Bluetooth, essentially, controller. So what that's going to do is that's going to control your phone. Cool thing about the Click is that it can wrap around your steering wheel and give you complete control of your phone. So put your phone inside your glove box, inside your pocket, places that are warm and tight, or dry, I should say. And then you can control all the functions of your phone through that JBL Click. So I would encourage everyone to check out that product. It's really sleek. And that pretty much captures all the features of the 4500. I mean, it's just features galore.
Thank you, Josh, for providing all this great information, breaking down the features and the benefits for both the different models, as well as all the remote options that you have. So in your words, help us summarize for dealers who, sell a lot in this marine audio space. Why do you feel that they should definitely take a closer look at JBL, especially in these source units, to be a strong partner within the marine audio space?
Yeah, so the JBL units, man, they bring just that air of, cosmetic professionalism is what I like to call it. So it just looks sleek on the dash. I'm going to belabor this question that you gave me. I'm going to go into, some of the features. But one thing I wanted to recap real quick, it was back to the 3500, is Bluetooth 5.0 has, that feature. So that's one thing that I just wanted to kind of, quickly update for the record. But back to your question, right? So in addition to looking very sleek on that dash, I mean, it's JBL performance, right? It's just legendary product. It's JBL's the brand that first complemented, Woodstock 1969, the speakers that were on stage at Woodstock, right? So what a cool historical brand. So that historical brand is going to give you that sleekness on the dash. Now, if you have a boat, it's going to give you, we're going to give you all sorts of features, we're going to give you options from the 3500 to the 4500, different price points. But again, I think it's performance, right? JBL is known for performance. You look at all the speakers on stage, in movie theaters, at concerts, in the airports, you see them, and they're just everywhere. And why is that? That's because JBL is known for sound, right? We're a sound company. So at the end of the day, we're going to give you a sleek look on your dash. We're going to give you that performance, and we're going to give you that reliability as well. Let's not forget that. So, we understand that boaters want their products to live up to the harsh environments, all sorts of things out there, UV, rain, salt. So boaters don't want to have to deal with, hey, I can't listen to my radio or my tunes while on the boat, this weekend. I mean, look, we all look forward to that, just jamming on that boat and or just relaxing, whatever it is, whatever genre you pick. We want to be there for you. And we feel that this new Wake series, which is the 3500 and the 4500, are just going to be your best solution at the end of the day. So I appreciate you having me on, and this has been fun, man.
And that is a wrap on this week's CMA Live All Access, brought to you by SiriusXM and presented by 5-Axis Innovation. Thanks for tuning in, as we always deliver the freshest news of what's going on in our 12-volt electronics industry. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.